study today, we're going to look at the syllabus. I've given you some assignments head on ahead so that you can get started on working there. But there it is. Once everybody gets one, we'll get started. Actually, I'm going to
no offense to you, I was just being straight up. It says, how do you see yourself in 10 years? I hope that I am my parents. My dad watched it, my grandma, I'm just, clear back in life.
all my
Of course they're right.
have lost theirs.
Sorry, bro.
It just happens. I could get a toupee.
No.
Yeah,
No.
please.
I could gradually change the toupee. It could gradually get.
I had that in gray.
What?
I had that in gray.
This is the same.
Little
All right.
elbow pads.
Welcome to Youth Men 302. You're now halfway through the journey, and we're getting started on a new study, course of study. This is a study that focuses on the heart in youth ministry. Whereas the last one was about the heart of, we talked about the biblical foundation for youth ministry, the theology behind it. We talked about the skills that were necessary to develop relationships with your students, with your parents. And then we began to talk about how you can progress in understanding youth culture. That was at the very beginning of our study. We talked about the foundations of youth ministry in terms of evangelism, discipleship, fellowship, ministry, leadership. And we talked about the different groups that you'll get to minister to. Y'all remember those C's, the crowd and the core, cravers, committed, church, all those. So this quarter is going to be about the inside, the in-depth work that it takes to put on youth ministry events, Bible studies, relating to your parents, solving problems in the classroom, in the ministry. So it's more practical in that sense because we're going to be talking about how to minister outside of those big events or Bible study classes. So this is the syllabus for the quarter. You have 3 books that you need to have for this class. I brought 2 of them because my other one's online. You can buy them online too to read. But this is Youth Ministry Management Tools. This resource is way better for you outside of the classroom. You're going to have to read some of the chapters, but this is a really good book to have just as a point of reference because in it there's a disc. Actually, I don't think there's a disc anymore. I believe that all of it's downloadable online because you have the book. So that tells you how old this book has been. It was used when I was a student here. Now they've updated it. So this is the 2014 version. But it's really, really good. It's worth its weight for the handouts that they have at the end. It's a lot of administrative stuff. But you'll be using it for reading, testing purposes. Also, we'll be reviewing it in the classroom. And then you remember this one, right? Your first 2 years, we have the second half to read for this class. It's a great book that will help you prep for the early years in youth ministry. Doug Field's pretty practical in the way that he deals with volunteers, the stories that he shares. He just has a lot of experience, and you'll benefit from it too. Again, we're reading the second half of this semester. Then your third book, I don't know if anybody's got it with them. Did anybody get books yet? Okay, thank you. That's A Tale of 3 Kings. This is going to be your book of devotion for the quarter. And it is a book about leadership. It's a book about submission to and authority to those that are above you. It's a book, it's biblically based on David, Absalom, and Solomon. And it's written as a narrative. So you're looking at life through King David's eyes as he goes through a journey. Remember, Solomon would have been David's son, I believe. Yes, Solomon would have been David's son, and so David's preparing to pass on his ministry to him. But then you have Absalom, who wants to overtake his throne, and then you have King Saul. That's what it is, King Saul. Saul, who was before David, and was very, very jealous of David's success in ministry. So it's Solomon, David, Absalom. Not Solomon, Saul. Sorry about that. I keep getting mixed up. But you'll like the book, and you'll be doing reviews on it. So let's go over some of the assignments that you're going to have. I've changed it up quite a bit. You're the first class to get to do some of these assignments, and it's going to be neat. I've tried to lessen the number of quizzes you take. Also, I've tried to condense the journal too. But let's talk about first what I expect. You know, attendance is a big deal. You participate is a big deal to me because that's how you value the class. Remember last quarter we had a student that mentioned, you know, that we could have done more in the classroom and things, and I reminded him that he was out 3 of the classes, so that's like 33% of the class. So, you know, if you're here, you'll get it all. So do your best to be here. Of course, follow the guidelines of the school in terms of absences, things like that. But I want you to make your every effort to be a part, okay, in the class. Let's talk about the projects. You have 3 this time instead of 4. Yes, sir.
What's the second project?
Yeah,
We don't have things we for the second project.
That's because I haven't given it to you yet.
Gosh, was.
For those that are online, this is Nicholas Morse, and he asks a lot of questions that are not necessary. That's it.
Aaron wanted to do. I asked him.
Well, first project, this is the one that's going to be due in week 3. All right, you're going to interview 3 students from each developmental phase of adolescence. Y'all remember the developmental phase of adolescence? Outstanding.
Good job.
Early, middle, late. Okay? You're going to interview 3 students. They all must be different. They cannot be from the same family. So you need to be different students from your family. All right? But you're going to interview them, and you're asking them a few questions. You can also interview their parents at the same time. All right? So you're going to be intentionally going to students and their families, and you're just hearing them out. There's no opinion on your part. It's all about what they say. So don't take offense, you know, if they say some things that may be hurtful towards the youth minister or towards the youth ministry. Also, don't take offense if they answer a question in a way that you're not, you know, looking for them to answer to them. This is about their goals for their child. This is about how they see their child growing in the Lord or not. All right, so you may run into some challenges there. I find that the first question for the younger children, how do you see yourself in 10 years? I like to see how that answer changes as they get older. And you'll find that some of them are Christ-focused throughout. It disappoints you, it breaks your heart. You'll find that some begin that way. And then you'll find some that are really, really trying to serve the Lord with their life. But let them answer the questions unfiltered. Okay? Same thing with the parents. Those 3 questions are critical. Because you're going to see that not every family is centered on Christ. Not every family makes Jesus the main goal. And that's what we're trying to find out, how we can better minister to families. So that's project 1. Let's do week 3, so we've got several weeks to work on those. The second project is you're going to sit down with a full-time youth minister, again, full-time, part-time. It's okay. If you have a hard time finding full-time. But I want you to go beyond an email. I really want you to sit down and talk to a youth minister. And if a youth minister says they don't have time to meet with you, meet with another youth minister. Okay? But I want you to meet with them, and again, if you're interviewing them, I'll give you those questions week 3, because that one is due on week 6. All right. The reason I give you the third project is because you'll have a full quarter to go to a youth meeting. It wouldn't be fair to give you a project 3 weeks out, right? And you only have 3 weeks to go to youth meeting. Now you've got 3 months to pick a youth event to go to. This project is brand new to the course. You're going to attend a youth ministry event or program. So you can go to a Wednesday night, you can go to a Sunday night youth program. Remember, you've got to seek permission from the youth pastor before you can show up. Your church is like ours, you have guidelines on who's supposed to be in the room, things like that. So make sure that you see the youth pastor before you show up at their event. Let them know that you're going to be there, so they'll call the police. All right. So make sure that you have permission, but you're critically evaluating the youth ministry event. And it's pretty in-depth, too. When I say target audience, do you remember the core crowd, those things? I want you to list those things. Who are they trying to reach? It's a good chance you're going to go to a crowd. But if you go to a Wednesday night out,